The Justice Department has named a team to review law enforcement's response to the mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas last month. Officers have been criticized for waiting over an hour to enter Robb Elementary School and confront the shooter who killed 19 children and 2 teachers. Attorney General Merrick Garland says the DOJ will conduct a critical incident review in order to best understand what happened on May 24th.
The Justice Department is undertaking a critical incident review of the law enforcement response that day at the request of the Uvalde mayor. The review will be comprehensive, it will be transparent, and it will be independent. We will be assessing what happened that day. We will be doing site visits at the school.
And Ralph Cilento joins me now for more. He is an adjunct professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice and a retired NYPD lieutenant commander of detectives. Ralph, thanks for being here. So similar reviews have been conducted in the wake of previous mass shootings. Tell us, what will the DOJ be looking into this time?
Well, if the DOJ has nothing else, they have manpower. So they'll be sending several dozen people to comb over the incident, walk the hallways, review hours and hours of 911 tapes and police radio transmissions. They are going to interview several witnesses, the children, faculty, parents, basically every law enforcement officer that responded or was involved over the radio. And it's a massive undertaking. And an incident this large, with so many apparent missteps, deserves every bit of manpower that it gets. And it's also very important to have it done by an independent auditor, such as the DOJ, because even if the Texas Department of Public Safety does a great job at their own internal investigation, the results will always be in question because, there's argument that an agency can't investigate itself. So I think this is the right move. I think it's going to take a little while. People are going to have to be patient. There were apparently a lot of missteps here, and I think the DOJ will get down to the bottom of it.
Ralph, as you mentioned missteps, authorities in Texas spent 3 days providing often conflicting and incomplete information about the timeline of that incident. What questions still remain unanswered?
Well, a bunch of questions remain unanswered. Number one, why did the cops wait outside in the hallway for 45 minutes? I mean, I think it's fair to say that there are literally hundreds of thousands of police officers who serve across the country who are outraged by the fact that children were getting murdered inside that classroom and they waited outside. I mean, with all of the domestic disputes that we go to and all of the traffic accidents and traffic tickets that we write, at the quintessential moment when it revealed itself about what it means to be a cop, they choked. I mean, if there's an incident commander that's responsible for that decision, my opinion, based on my vast experience, is that that person should be suspended and fired. It's unconscionable that they waited out in the hallway. That door must be breached at all costs. I don't care how you do it. There are children on the phone on 911 talking to the 911 operator. They're talking to their parents while shots are going off in the background. Obviously, protocols were not followed for the National Incident Management System when it comes to an active shooter. No matter what you do, you must terminate the threat, even if it means bullets are coming in your direction. That's the job.
And Ralph, AG Garland emphasized that the DOJ's probe will not be a criminal investigation. You're suggesting that the repercussions for anybody responsible should be termination. Tell us what else is expected to come out of this review.
Well, there should be a comprehensive report that comes out of it, similar to that of the Pulse nightclub or the Ferguson, Missouri shooting. So the DOJ will prepare a massive report, and in that report, there will be recommendations. There'll be identified missteps. There should be some recommended discipline. We hear, if we can believe what we hear now, there are so many misdirected statements that there were 10 or 12 officers in a hallway. I can almost promise you that 10 to 12 officers did not want to wait outside that door. So they were probably, beholden to an incident commander in there. And if that's the case, that will come out also. So we can expect recommendations from the DOJ. We can expect a full, fine forensic breakdown of the incident. And of course, forgive me for stating the obvious, but this is all after the fact. There are 19 children dead, a couple of teachers. I mean, it's absolutely horrible. Who knows if they breached the door, they would have been able to save some lives, but they didn't even try. I mean, I have trouble even explaining that to people who know that I'm a police officer, and they ask me, the question that everybody asks me is, would you have waited out in the hallway? And of course, the answer is no. You may die, but if you die with your boots on when you're trying to get in and save children.
And that is the very heart of why this issue is so difficult. Ralph Cilento, thank you.
Thank you.